Enoma asked the villagers about the whereabouts of his family. He was giving directions to Idemudia's compound. So one sunny morning, as the family prepared for their individual daily routine, a stranger appeared at the front of their house. His clothes were tattered, and his face bore the marks of hardship. Afure, the third child Isoken was pregnant with when Enoma disappeared, was the first to see him, and she said to him, "Good morning, sir. Please, who are you looking for?" And Enoma replied, "Please, I'm here to see Isoken." So without further questions, the teenage girl ran inside to call her mother. "Mother, there is a man outside to see you." The whole family rushed out in curiosity, and behold, Enoma was looking miserable, standing in front of the house. Omosigo couldn't recognize her father. As soon as Isoken sighted Enoma, her anger fled. "What are you doing here and how did you find us?" "Who is he?" Demudia and the rest of the children chorused. She turned to Ofure and Omosigo. "This is your biological father," she answered, and she turned to Idemudia and said, "My lord, this is the man who abandoned me and the children to be with another woman." And at that moment, there was total silence. Enoma, amidst tears, with trembling voice, fell to the ground and said, "Please forgive me. I was a fool. I shouldn't have abandoned you. Please give me a second chance. I promise never to be lazy again." Omosigo's anger intensified. "Please leave, we don't know you. The only father we have is he," pointing towards Idemudia. The atmosphere was filled with anger, weeping, and hurtful utterances. Idemudia escorted Enoma out of his compound with a stern warning never to show his face or disturb his family again. Omosigo's marriage preparation brought Omorojon the first son back to the village. Omorojon left the village with Idemudia's brother to learn his line of business, cocoa trading. He has become very successful. As he drove his car into the village, almost hitting Enoma, who entered the road lost in thought. "Hey, old man, could you please watch where you are going?" he said in anger. "I am very sorry," Enoma replied. They couldn't recognize each other. A meeting has been fixed to hold in the Okaigbe's house, the head of their family clan, with everyone in attendance to conclude Omosigo's marriage plan. While everyone was seated for the meeting, Enoma entered and there was tension everywhere. The children never want to see him there. The Okaigbe succeeded in calming everyone, and he addressed the issue of forgiving him and letting him participate in the marriage rite as tradition demands. Just then, Omosigo stood up before the elders and said, "How can a man reap what he didn't sow?" She said, pointing to Idemudia, "This is the only father we know, and I want him to collect my bride price." The elders frowned, looking at each other, but Omosigo stood firm. She recounted the nights where Idemudia had sat by her bedside, soothing her nightmares with tales of bravery, the warmth of his embrace when she fell ill, the protection and provision he gave them, how she was able to learn the craft of basket weaving, how Omorojan has become a successful businessman through the help of Idemudia, and now Ofure just completed her elementary school, courtesy of Idemudia. Omorojan stood up in anger, pointing at Enoma. She said, "This man here abandoned us. He was a shadow that disappeared even before we could grasp his face." Turning to the elders, he said, "Doesn't he who waters and nurtures a seed deserve the same reward as he who has sown the seed? The only father we know and should collect Omosigo's bride price is he," as he turned towards Idemudia. Idemudia consoled Isoken day and night, telling her to let her biological father take the bride price, assuring her of his undying love for them, whether blood or not. Enoma's conscience weighed heavily upon him. Filled with guilt, he longed for redemption, for a chance to mend the frayed bond he had lost. Though he had already lost the kind-hearted Isoken to Idemudia, he believed he still had a second chance with his children. So one day, He sought counsel from the village wisest man. The old man sat in front of his hut, his white beard catching the evening breeze. A Norman approached him. Baba, I seek your wisdom. How can I regain my children's love and acceptance? I abandoned them. Now my first daughter is about to be married to a kind and honorable man. They don't want my presence. The elderly man studied Enoma's face and saw regret. Enoma, he said, the path to redemption lies in humility and sacrifice. You must allow Idemudia to collect bride price for Omosigo, to recognize our upbringing and the love he has shown them when you disappeared. And so Enoma agreed. He swallowed his pride. His eyes filled with both apprehension and anticipation for the marriage day. On the day of the marriage, as the villagers celebrated, Owie and Omosigo radiant in their marriage traditional attire, it was time for the marriage rites proper. Enoma stood among the crowd and said, Idemudia, I give you my blessing. Collect the bride price for Omosigo. Let it be a token of my remorse, a bridge between our past and our shared future. Idemudia nodded solemnly. Omosigo, Omorodio, and Ofure watched from a distance. With tears in their face, they saw their father's willingness to heal old wounds, and they hugged and forgave him. The villagers cheered, and sound of applause filled the air. Omosigo whispered her gratitude to God that Idemudia, her stepfather, had collected more than her bride price. He had also collected her heart. The news of Eki the harlot's sudden madness spread like wildfire through the village and the neighboring villages. And so, this tale of Enoma, the lazy and runaway father, who has though become a reformed and changed man, echoed through the generations, a cautionary reminder that love and responsibility should never be abandoned by fleeting desires, and that sometimes family was not bound by blood alone. It was woven from shared laughter, support, and the quiet strength of those who stood with one through thick and thin, in good or bad times. And I hope you enjoyed my story. Please, if you enjoyed my story, subscribe, like, and share. Thank you.